are doing well. So today I am here to share with you a beautiful information about making a decision to sign a consent during pregnancy and also when in labor. A lot of the times, women go through these hurdles and struggles with making decision, especially when they are pregnant. One decision is when they are pregnant, there is a whole lot, especially here in the United States. When you are pregnant, there are a whole lot of tests that you need to do. There's ultrasound that you need to do, that you need to do based on the hospital protocols, but not really based on the natural physiological birth route. Okay, so that's what we know. That's what a lot of people know, right? A lot of people don't really consider natural physiological birth at first, unless you know about it, unless you read up about it, unless you educate yourself about it. But once you are into pregnancy, it's like you have to make a whole lot of decisions. You have to make decision of whether or not you should do ultrasound, whether or not you should know the gender, whether or not you should take the glucose test, whether or not you should go with epidural, whether or not you should eat this kind of food, or the safety food, the not safety food, the safety least food, food safety, and all of those things. There is a whole bunch, right? Whether or not to do cord banking, or whether or not to cut the umbilical cord immediately when you have a baby, whether or not to breastfeed or not to breastfeed, to bottle feed, to pump. All of those things are decisions that women go through that becomes very hard, becomes really very hard for them to make, because it's a whole lot. And this is not only for them to decide for themselves, it's also impacting the baby that they bring it into this world. So that making decision becomes very hard, because it's not only one person, it's now two persons, and the one person that is involved cannot make their own decision. You, the parents, have to make the decision. So it's really hard. But there is a way that you can easily make a decision without going through the stress of thinking and waking up at night to make a good decision for you and your family and for the future, right? There's an easy way out. The easy way out is an acronym called BRAIN, like our brain, the brain inside our head. So it's B like boy. The brain means is the short form of the benefit. So the benefits of the procedure that is being suggested to you. So what are the benefits of the procedure that is being suggested to you? If it is epidural, maybe you getting nearer to your labor, and you are thinking about not going the medicated route, but your doctor is telling you, maybe we can hook you on epidural to speed up the labor process, or induction. They can give you give you induction to speed up the labor process and make you to get your baby early, because the doctor is thinking about traveling somewhere, or it's not obvious to you, okay, but that happens. Or the doctor is thinking about you have passed your due date, and there is risk of going past your due date and all of those things. So you need to get induction to get the labor process going. But are you really ready? So if you are not ready, you ask yourself and you ask the person who is suggesting the procedure to you, what are the benefits of that procedure? If it is epidural, what are the benefits of the epidural? Maybe you want to reduce pain. Really, that's what your goal is, to reduce pain and not to feel a whole lot of pain when you are in labor. What are the benefits? Even though it is your decision, you have to be very empowered and educated on the decision that you make ultimately. So what are the benefits? Is it going to benefit you as the mother, and then the benefit of the baby? Because some procedures are not obvious that they are beneficial to the baby. They could be beneficial to the mother, but how about the baby? Okay, so that is something to consider. And then the next acronym in the brain is R. So R will be the risk. Definitely, if there are benefits, there are some risk associated to everything. So nothing is perfect, right? So if there, even if like the benefits are 99%, there could be 0.1% risk associated to something that has like 99% benefits. So what are the benefits? We tackle that. And now what are the risks? Okay, the risk is if that thing is gonna harm you physically, emotionally, it's gonna traumatize you, it's gonna give you some birth trauma, whatever, or it's not going to give you birth trauma, but it's going to give you physical, it's gonna affect your physical health, it's gonna affect whatever it is. That's for you. And then you consider that for your baby. Is it going to be a risk for your baby? If it is epidural, epidural passes through the placenta and goes through the baby, right? So if that epidural is okay for you, feel like it's okay for your baby to be exposed to those chemicals from the epidural or the pitocin, exactly, the pitocin also goes, pitocin is used to induct, right? It's used in induction. So it is going to go through to your baby. Are you okay with that? What is going to happen if that goes through your baby? Are you going to be okay today and then in the future? All right. So not thinking just narrowly as today, right now, what is going to happen, but in the future. And then in the future of your children's parenting and children's motherhood or parenthood, right? So that's something you have to also put and be strategic about, right? So the B is the benefit, the R is the risk, and then the A is the alternative. So if this procedure is being suggested to you, what are the alternatives? Definitely there is a whole lot of options that we can choose from. We don't have to choose only one thing. So if something is being suggested to you, you ask the alternative. What are some of the stuff that you can do other than what you are being suggested to that have limited risk to you and to your unborn baby? So you have to make sure that you know that as well to make a consent, to make a very good decision for yourself and for your future baby, your unborn baby. So what are the alternatives? For instance, if you are being suggested to take the glucose test, like at the end of your pregnancy, during the third trimester, the glucose test is being suggested, or is a protocol that a lot of providers bring up, that women should have that glucose test, first of all, to rule out gestational diabetes, and then also to rule out any fluctuations of glucose insensitivity and stuff like that in a pregnant woman. So if you are being suggested that, but what are the benefits? What are the alternatives? We are dealing with alternative right now. What are the alternative of that? Because there are research that show that, even just recently, there is a research that show that that glucose drink contains some cancerous chemicals in them that is really not good for a pregnant woman to have. Not even a normal person who is not even pregnant, right? Not even that. So it is not even healthy for a normal person who is not pregnant. let alone a pregnant woman who is carrying a life in her womb. All right. So there is a lot of research telling us that that glucose drink is really not the best. So what are the alternatives to the glucose drink? Okay, there's a lot in a nutritional when we come to nutrition, there's a lot of ways that you can handle that. You speak with your doctor and tell the doctor that you can monitor your glucose before eating and after eating, right? And you take all the numbers before and after for few days so you know your numbers, and then when it's the day that you need to go and take the test, you know that this is what you've been getting and this is what you have, so it is something that you can rely on. Or you can eat a whole bunch of high glucose food, high calorie food, and then go and take the test and see how your glucose match or fluctuate or the numbers is, right? And there is a whole lot of options. Now there is even a company that produced that launched a glucose, I think it's a glucose powder, that the same thing as the glucose drink, right? So you put it in a liquid, in a water or liquid, and you mix it and you drink it. But that is food based. It's not like a chemical based something. It is food based. And I think the company is Fresh Test, right? That's the name, Fresh Test. So that claims to be food based, and a whole lot of women attest to that it is better option for that. So just in case you are going through that decision making with glucose, checking your glucose at the end of your third trimester, between your second and your third trimester, you can opt in for that or suggest that to your provider if your provider is aware about that. All right, so that is something that you have to consider as well. And there is a whole lot of examples. So what is the alternative? What can you do? For instance, if your doctor is suggesting a pitocin, right, what can you do that you don't want that pitocin in your system, let alone go into your baby, right? So what are the alternative? The alternative can be to wait until a certain number of time. Or the alternative can be to do a host of things that can get labor started, like movement, like eating a lot of dates, because dates has substantial research that shows that it can ripen the cervix and get labor going, right? You can eat a lot of dates. You can drink a lot of red raspberry leaf tea. Make the infusion and you drink it, you sip on it all day, all night, if you except when you are really asleep, right? You sip on it, because red raspberry leaf tea is also one of the leaves that has been shown by research to help with labor prep and help with the uterine prep for labor. All right, so you drink a whole lot of that, and you make sure that you do a host of stuff. You do your movements like squatting, like not just sitting. You do the curve walking and all of those things, right? If you are not informed about that, I am also going to follow up with some of this stuff, even though I'm not going to make the focus of this channel more of childbirth education. It's going to be more of nutrition education, but I would bring in childbirth education here and there 1 or 2 times. All right, so you do a lot of that, right? Those are the options that can kickstart labor for you instead of going in for the induction. All right, so the B is the benefit, the R is the risk, and the A is the alternative. The I is the intuition. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of us with intuition. It gave us something. There's an instinct that when you get into your body, into your soul, into your head, there is something that tells you this is wrong and this is right. This is good and this is bad. This is a long run thing to follow through and work hard towards. This maybe doesn't require a lot of effort from me. I don't need to put a lot of effort because it's not an end goal for me, right? Allah has put that in us, everybody, whether you are a baby or you are an adult. Allah has put that in us to be able to decipher between two, wrong and right, good and bad. And that is what is called intuition. So your intuition, when somebody tells you something, what is your first reaction? Your reaction that your heart, your mind, and your gut feeling is telling you. So in a way, I call it gut feeling to a lot of my mamas. That is your gut feeling. What is your gut telling you about that thing that somebody just told you? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel okay about it? Does it sound good? Is it sensical? Does it make sense? That is the questions that you have to ask. When you go to bed, does it wake you up and you start thinking about it? Do you dream about it? That is the intuition. All right. And one of the easiest thing that our Prophet ﷺ also recommended for us is when you are making a critical decision is to make istikhara, right? To make istikhara as Muslims, as Muslim women, aspiring and striving Muslim women, istikhara is such a powerful tool that if you are not using it, please try as much as possible when you're making decision, even if it is the decision for you or for your marriage, for your babies, just tiny bit decision, try to put it into istikhara. Wake up at night or after Isha to make 2 rak'at and then to do the dua. I have shared a video before about that. In one of when you go on my video tab, you can get that, but I would link it in this description, in the description of this video. You make your decision based on Allah's guidance, not based on your own guidance. Okay, Allah is gonna guide you on how to really take the best decision, but how is He gonna guide you? By you showing the effort that you are giving Him all that you are going to do. You're giving Him the control. You're telling Him that the control is in your hands. I'm giving it to you. Please help me make decision. And you put it into that. You make that. And this is a beautiful recommendation from the Prophet to make istikhara when you're making decision. You make istikhara when you're making decision during pregnancy as well. Because pregnancy is not like a lightly to just take things lightly. This is concerning your future and the future of your offspring and the future of the future generations of the Prophet ﷺ's ummah. So you make a beautiful decision and an important decision for that matter, right? So in a way, it's intuition. Like if you are not a Muslim and you are watching me, we say intuition because what is it that you feel? And based on your reading, based on the education that you have about that topic, what is coming up for you, like mentally and spiritually and whatever, maybe emotionally as well, what is coming up for you? If you feel good about it, then that's the decision you have to make. If you don't feel good about it, ask for alternative. You go back to the eye, you ask for alternative, right? So that is one of the key tools as Muslims you can use. If you are not a Muslim, intuition is what I have explained. If you're a Muslim, you use your istikhara. You use your intuition, yes, but use your istikhara to get support and guidance from Allah as well. And the last acronym is N. That is do nothing, never, or later. So you can decide if a provider or a key person of influence in your decision making in your pregnancy is telling you something, is suggesting something, even between you and your spouse. What do you think you can, based on the benefit, based on the risk, based on the alternative, and based on the intuition and the istikhara that you did? After all of these four, the last one is the N. That's the do nothing, now or never. Okay? Do something or nothing, now or never. Okay? So what is all of those things your consideration? Are you okay with it? Do you want to do something right now? If, for instance, going back to induction or using epidural, do you want to really make the decision right now, or you need time to read up on and to empower yourself with education and to ask questions around those people or those women who have gone through it? What are their experiences? If nobody has gone through it, what are the books or the videos or something that can help you to make a decision? Or do you need time to actually make istikhara and see the signs that this is the decision that you want to make, you want to take, right? So this is very, very important. Do nothing now. You can choose not to do anything and wait and see how things would go. For instance, if a doctor is suggesting induction, right? Probably he is really thinking about induction because of his own gains. Maybe he's thinking about induction because of the risk that is associated to your pregnancy. Maybe. We don't know. Right? So if all of those options are put on the table for you, do you really want to make decision right now and say to the doctor, okay, go ahead, let's get the induction going, or let's get the epidural going, or let's get the food that is really giving me troubles and making me nauseated and all of those things, put it in my meal plan and get ready with my meal plan, and I'm gonna go get it ready? No. You can just tell the person, wait, I'm going to take my time and make decision. And you can take your time, not today, not tomorrow, and wait. Like a lot of women I have seen and I have experienced also that were suggested induction, and then they waited because there wasn't anything that is really a substantial reason for induction, right? And then they decided not to go for that. And then they waited. And what happened? Definitely your pregnancy will drop. There's no way your baby will stay in your uterus more than the allotted time that Allah has ordained for him or her to be in. It's gonna drop. Once it is there, it's gonna come out. So if you go into that induction and you really rush through the decision making, are you really giving your baby the chances of not experiencing and getting all those chemicals and all of those stuff in their system before they are even born into earth side? Right. So you take your time and make the decision right now or later. Okay. So these are the main things that you have to pay attention to when you're making decision. As women, we are really surrounded by a whole lot of decision making, a whole lot of stresses, a whole bunch. And that is one of the gifts that Allah has blessed us with. But before we make decision, before we go through all of those things, let's empower ourselves with education. Let's empower ourselves with guidance. If you cannot educate yourself, you are somebody who doesn't read, who is really hard, finds it hard to read through the literature and through the research, because right, if you don't go through learning how to read research and decipher all the information, it's gonna be hard. How are you going to get your education and help? You seek help from coaches, you seek help from doulas, you seek help from nutritionists and other professionals who can actually help you get to point A to point B. All right. So I am a doula and I'm also a nutritionist as well. I specialize in pre and postnatal nutrition. So if you are interested in getting to know a little more about what to do if you are in the stage of preconception or pregnancy or postpartum especially, and breastfeeding, you can let me know in the comment section, or you can email me in the email that is in my profile. Or I can also say is the nourished Muslimah at gmail.com, so we can take it from there. If you are not the person who is seeking help, you can share it to other women who are interested in the kind of support I give to women. So inshallah, I will see you next time. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section below. I'm going to get back to it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And make sure you watch the videos that I have shared previously, containing a whole bunch of beautiful information there. So until I see you next time, inshallah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Be in the best of health and iman.